I'm Ginny from Sharing Parenting and just wanted to share some tips today about returning to school. So this year may feel very different when the children return back to school after the school holidays, and some of your children may already be starting to talk about it. So just really wanted to talk about a few tips just to make everybody feel a bit more comfortable. So tip one is just to say, keep talking with your children and talk it through. If they have got concerns, then do listen to them. Sharing parenting, we talk about active listening. So look at their body language and see what they're actually saying. Now they may be nervous about it, so just listen to what they're nervous about, and then you may be able to talk it through with them. Tip two is to make contact with their friends. So it may be a long time since they've seen the friends that they normally would associate at school. So if it's safe to do so, perhaps you could make a few sort of play dates just in the park or in a nice outside area, and just meet up again with the friends, and that will make your children feel happier to see a familiar face once they get back to school. Tip three is to be positive about going back to school. Now, you may well feel nervous yourself, but if you could just be positive about it, it is generally a good and happy place to be in school. And I know the message lately has been perhaps to stay safe, you have to stay at home. So again, this will come back to talking to your children and being honest with them and listening to them. But if you could be positive, often children like to be at home, and take that as a compliment. But again, there will be lots of things that they will want to get back to normal with at school. So try to be positive and remember the things that they used to like, and maybe you could talk about those. So tip four is to get back into the school routine before the night before, if you can. So perhaps if you can sort of start reducing some of the late nights, perhaps trying to get them up at a time that you would normally leave the house, and look at school uniforms, look at lunch boxes, and start to get those things out again in the house, and just so that they're visible and familiar again. Tip five is to be positive about things that you're going to do after school. So obviously the school day will take up a chunk of their time, but there is still usually lots of time after school to be doing some nice things as well, especially at the moment with the nice light evenings. If your child is feeling particularly anxious, then do talk to your school teacher about it, and just sort of help them to get some ideas from them, but also just to let them know how your child is actually feeling. So there are a few online therapeutic stories that you could share with your children. If you Google therapeutic stories or going back to school, then you might see some just simple little books or stories online that will help your children just to go through that whole process again and to remind them of the routine. So last tip is not to project your own anxieties. I talked a little bit about that before, but just to be positive about the return, and if you have any concerns, then discuss with another adult, but if you can do that out of earshot of your child. So any of the concerns that you have, which are all normal, and it's likely if your children are feeling anxious, you're feeling anxious, and you just don't want it to be a circle that you're both sort of making each other anxious. So if you can try to talk to another adult, or as I said, the class teacher about it, but if you can do that out of earshot of your child, then that would really help them to feel more comfortable about returning to school. And then finally, be more understanding when they do go back to school, that when they get home they're going to be really tired, and they're going to be probably more emotional than they are normally, and you will probably see that in their behaviour. Their children are not great at articulating how they feel, but they definitely show us in their behaviour. So sharing parenting, we say don't get in the ring, which basically means if you can see that there's a fight to be had, then perhaps be the adult and just step back from that. At that time you will need to use a little bit of active listening, or it might just be that you'll give them a little bit of downtime and either time to run off some energy in the park, or they might just want to sit in front of the TV when they get home. And you've all been great teachers and sort of doing some really great homeschooling, but remember that when they get home from school in the new term, that they are going to be shattered, and that perhaps the things that you really enjoyed doing with them and the way and the routines that you had may be slightly different, and you might just have to relax back into letting them have a little bit of their own time. Okay, so hopefully that's useful. We have got some more tips on our website, and we tend to put all of our news and our blogs on our news pages on our website, and there's lots of resources and other things and tips about lots of different subjects, so please do have a look. So our website is www.sharingparenting.com, or you can email us at info@sharingparenting.com. And we are on Facebook, Twitter, we have lots of vlogs on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and Instagram, and you can access all of those at the bottom screen on our website too. Okay, hope to see you soon. Bye.